Right, Shalom, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Today we're going to talk about relinquishing the control we think we have, because we don't really have control in any way, shape, or form. As we'll read in Proverbs 20:24 later on in the lesson, we'll get a bunch of precepts on free will, but the Lord directs everybody's path. Now, a lot of people, they come into this truth, they learn that they're Israelites. You know, a lot of men don't want to join camps because they think, you know, they're relinquishing control. They don't trust. I know these men is really in the truth. Are they going to do right by me? They lack faith. Obviously, you got to have the discernment to see who really has the truth, all right? Because somebody has it, pursuing Revelation 14, 5. There's a subset of men with no guile, meaning no deceit, in the words that they speak. Somebody has the full truth. So on that end, for the men, that move that way, that fear. You got that fear that something might go wrong, which is shows a lack of understanding that the Lord controls every side. He's the Almighty. Okay? For the sisters, that may be looking for a man, or you got a man, or women in general, they have this thing where they have to have some kind of control in the relationship. There's a protection mechanism from whatever they're afraid of happening. They have a manipulation tool that they use. It could be a bunch of different things, but they have things that they use to try to have some control. When you come to the house of the Lord, you come before Yahweh Shemi Yahushua, you have to ditch that mindset, man, and understand that the Lord is going to structure things in your best interest, and you have to have faith in Him. He's following through on that. He said He was. You don't believe? What you doing? All right, but the first precept I want to go to, because I mentioned that the Lord is the Almighty. Nothing is happening outside of His jurisdiction, whether you believe it or not, good or evil. All right. It talks about in Isaiah. Is that Isaiah 45? We're gonna get that real quick before I get this first precept. People they have these little fears, and when you really analyze it, it's just a lack of faith. Isaiah 45:7, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. The Lord controls every side. Now we go to Psalms 115:3, and He makes this statement. But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. He's the Almighty, man. Again, nothing is happening outside of His jurisdiction, and you have to be equipped with the faith to understand that and walk knowing that, move and think knowing that. It'll save you a lot of stress and worry. You shouldn't be a believer and walking around worried about a bunch of shit. What the fuck are you worried about? What? It's crazy. Okay, so again, I'll retitle this lesson once I get done with it. I just went live, but it's going to be about the relinquishing of control and relying on faith. Okay? We're commanded to trust in the Lord. That's a commandment, to trust in the Lord. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 3:5 to back that up. Go to Proverbs 3:5. It reads, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. If you truly trusting in the Lord, leaning on Him, your path is going to be directed towards righteousness. If you've truly been endowed with the gift of faith, that's going to be the direction you're headed, regardless of the adversities you may go through, regardless of the the situations and people the Lord may be cutting off in your life. It may not feel good at the time, but your direction is headed towards righteousness if you're truly leaning on the Lord and having faith in Him. You're not in that spirit of doubt. Okay? Your path is orchestrated by the Most High. And that's beyond our understanding. Now, I mentioned Proverbs 20 and 24. Let's go get it. It says, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So there's no such thing as free will, despite what, people have been taught or what you previously may have believed. Life ain't what you make it. It's what the Lord has written or ordained. Okay, and to back that up, I'm going to run off a bunch of precepts you can go read for yourself. Job 33 and 15 through 17. Proverbs 16 and 1. Proverbs 16 and 9. Jeremiah 10 and 23. Jeremiah 17 and 10. Sirach 18 and 3. Sirach 33 and 13. Sirach 39 and 18. Romans 9 and 12, and Revelation 17 and 17. Those are all things you can go to just to double down on the fact, no, the Lord's pulling the strings. The Lord's orchestrating everything that's going down. Okay? Now, there are people who are predestined to be in particular positions or to receive salvation, to receive damnation in the scriptures. Okay? And the one precept I like to go to just to justify that is example in Exodus. When you go to Exodus, the 9th chapter and the 12th verse, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and we're going to get that word heart. It says, and the Lord hardened the heart. And the word heart there is la'ab, meaning the mind. Okay? And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. So the Lord was constantly hardening Pharaoh's heart in the time of Exodus, and having it as to where he did the Lord's bidding. And the Lord set Pharaoh up so that his name could be made great in the earth. Hey, Shalom, I see the elder Manasseh Zagba, the elder Micah Allah. Shalom, elders and brothers and sisters on the comment board. They put up some precepts here. He put up Psalms 19 and 13. I didn't see it when you first put it up. It says, keep back thy servant also for presumptuous sins. Ooh. Yeah. I want to look up that word presumptions in Psalms 19 and 13. We'll come back to the Exodus 9. But let's go look that up. Man. Yeah, that's a hitter there. Psalms 19 and 13. Let's check out that word presumptuous here. You see, man. It's Za'ad H2086. Arrogant, proud, insolent. The arrogant ones. Yeah, because a lot of times, man, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to do this, and they never filter what they think they're doing, what they're saying, or their thoughts. It never filters through, okay, is this what the Lord will want me to be doing? Is a spirit with this? Is this forwarding the ministry or the kingdom in any kind of way? They don't think about those things. All right? And when the Lord is truly dealing with you, when you truly believe and he becomes your default safety mechanism, he becomes your comfort response. These are the thoughts that you have before you say and do things. But people in the world who the Lord ain't dealing with, they don't have those thoughts. They don't filter the things they say and do through the Spirit. It's not something that comes to mind. Beautiful precept. Okay, now we're going to go back to, where were we? Exodus 9 and 12. That's where I was. Exodus 9 and 12. I almost lost it. Exodus 9 and 12, and we were looking up that word harden, because the Lord, he's the one holding the wheel. He's steering the wheel to everybody's actions, everybody's doings. He has to sanction anything on the earth before it happens. Now, when you look up Exodus 9 and 12, the word hardened there, you get the word kazak, okay? And it says to strengthen, prevail, harden, be strong, become strong, be courageous. But then it goes, when you jump down to hold on, Salakia. When you jump down in that definition, all right, you start reading, it says to fasten, hence to seize, man, bind, restrain, conquer, Boy, life ain't what you make it. The Lord is the one writing the story, man. Plain as day. When you look below the outline, these are the words that it's using for this word here in the Hebrew, kazak. Bind and restrain. Prevail. Retain. Maintain. Hold fast. To hold up. Boy. All right, so now let's go to, is another example I want to go to. We go to Romans, because I mentioned there's particular spirits that are predestined to salvation. There's certain spirits that are predestined to destruction. Let's go to Romans, the 8th chapter, and the 30th verse. Check this out. Ooh. Yeah, I see that comment there that Elder Mike Olive put. I believe this is for the word presumptuous. It says of a person or their behavior failing to observe the limits of what is permitted or appropriate. All right. So now let's go to Romans 8 and 30. Okay, that was what it was for. All right. Romans 8 and 30. It says, moreover, whom he did predestinate. Now, a Christian will see this word and be like, what? Yeah. There are certain people that they were allotted to push out this word. There's certain people who were allotted to be niggas. There's certain people who were allotted to be in this truth for a time and to fade away. There's certain people who were, allotted to be demons for a time and then to come into the truth. Apostle Paul, man, he was persecuting the church, and then the Lord did a great work with him. The Lord is orchestrating all of this. Okay? Romans 8:30 again. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. What shall we say then to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? So if you truly trust the Lord, you're not going to be in the spirit of worry. And you're also going to have the understanding that the ups and downs you go through are for a multiple of things, whether it be to refine you, to save you from particular situations, or from yourself even. All right, and to mold you into a reflection of Yahawashi. And I had this thought because I seen a sister had a comment on the comment board. I'm not going to go into the whole comment, but if a sister really believes the same way we are allotted to trust the Lord and that he going to look out for us, you got to trust that the Lord, if the Lord got you with a man, or when he does put you with a man, that the Lord set that man up to be your covering, and you just got to have faith. Things aren't always going to be your way. Brothers are going to have different temperaments. You just got to understand that, hey, the Lord is working, and everything ain't, going to be necessarily clear to me all the time. But I believe the same way children trust their parents. If you had the opportunity to be around children, or you have your own children, especially when they're toddlers and they're babies, they'll jump off of stuff and they just believe that you're going to catch them. There's not even a doubt in their mind. You know what I mean? It's not a doubt in their mind. They fully trust you. In their minds, nothing can happen to them if you're there. They're absolutely safe. And you have to be that. You have to be like a little child, like the scriptures say. You have to be that same way with Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. If you're not, you're not getting it. Because truly that is the case. Let's read Romans 8:31 again. What shall we say then to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? Because he controls everything. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow beforehand, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, right? Made little images of Yahawashi, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Okay? When Joseph was going through his BS, right? He was going through his trials and his tests. He was sent into slavery by his brothers. That was for a much bigger purpose. I really doubt that Joseph could have foresaw that in his mortal body at the time. Right? There's certain things that you may be going through, adversities you may be going through, and you don't quite understand why it's happening right now. In movies, and I love cinema. All right, when you watch movies, there's a lot of things that are happening at the beginning of the movie. They might zoom up on a symbol, or somebody might say something a few times, and it's foreshadowing for something very important that's going to happen at the end of the movie. There's foreshadowing in your story. That may not necessarily be dawning on you right now, but you have foreshadowing in your movie. You just have to trust that the director knows what he's doing, and don't indulge in the sin of doubt. You understand? So just a little quick lesson, man. I didn't mean for it to run long or anything like that. It's just something I was thinking about while I was on the plantation, and I had a couple precepts on the mind, and somebody got education from it. So I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.